I'm not going to talk much about the movie itself, but I'll bring it up in a few parts during the video. If you've been tuned to the current Marvel zeitgeist lately, you'll see that they're getting lots of flack, and rightfully so. Deadpool and Wolverine grossed a lot of money, but since it came out, the general consensus is that it's a pretty bad movie. The villain is one-dimensional, as usual. The world building is broken, and the nostalgia bait is blatant. Then comes 2025, and we're getting 3 Marvel movies this year, the first time in 3 years. Brave New World came out, and it was surrounded by controversy regarding some of the cast, and was received poorly both financially and critically. Now comes Thunderbolts. If you went out of your way to check out some of the teasers and trailers of this movie, you'll notice something weird, and it's the movie's logo. Pretty much, this has absolutely no effort put into it. Anyone could make a better logo than this in a single minute. What's worse is that they had the old logo and it looked more detailed, which, detailed doesn't necessarily equals good, but it was certainly better than just plain freaking text. The second complaint I have with the logo is the font. The freaking font is literally just impact. It's just impact with no other additions or changes to make it stand out. Like, where the hell did the marketing budget go? This is completely absurd. The original Thunderbolts comics already had a kick-ass font for their logo, and it wasn't just one of those generic ones that came pre-installed in your computer. The same thing sort of happened with Brave New World actually, where the Captain America logo had detail and all that, but the subtitle was just plain red text. This didn't happen with just this one poster, by the way. It happened with almost every poster for the movie. I swear, if we're talking about the quality of the movies, it's downgraded by a lot. But if we're talking about the logos for these movies as of lately, then that's a whole different story. Now, moving on with the poster for Thunderbolts. Just look at this. We've got the generic plain boring logo that we mentioned earlier, but you might think, oh, it's normal aside from that, right? And you're wrong, because upon further inspection, you'll notice 2 or maybe 3 things. 1, Yelena here is very clearly edited in. First, the lighting on her does not match the other characters by any means, and second, Taskmaster's drop shadow is incredibly noticeable. And it's almost as if both Yelena and Taskmaster were edited in. Yet people on Twitter were praising this poster for taking inspiration from posters such as the ones that were made for This Is the End or Sons of Anarchy. The concept is interesting, but it's executed horribly. Secondly comes a controversy with the 6-fingered hand. This complaint stems from the fact that here, on the left side of the screen, you can see what seems to be 6 fingers on this gentleman's right hand. Some people thought it was AI for some reason, but no, it's just an optical illusion. However, if Marvel didn't want this confusion to arise, they probably should have cropped the poster better, I don't know. This complaint about AI also rose when these posters for Fantastic Four came out, but that complaint got debunked by Marvel themselves. Now, what is Marvel trying to do with this marketing anyway? I believe they're trying to make this the Suicide Squad of Marvel, and some other people share this sentiment as well. The fact of the matter is that the Suicide Squad, while they had an awful first adaptation on the big screen, they had a much better one later on because the director was given freedom. Now, this doesn't inherently mean that creative freedom equals good quality, as proven by Multiverse of Madness, a terrible, terrible movie. The fact of the matter is that the Suicide Squad was written by an actual competent writer and director, while the other movie was written by a very untalented writer. But we're getting sidetracked here, so back to Thunderbolts. They released a TV spot like a month ago showcasing the projects that have been worked on by the crew of this movie, and don't get me wrong, it'll probably succeed in getting more people to watch this film, but my only query is why? At the end of the day, these people's visions will most likely just be ruined by the studio meddling that occurs all the time at Marvel. I could be wrong, maybe we'll get an absolutely great movie, or we'll just get the usual pile of crap. Judging from these teasers, trailers, and all the promotional material we've been getting, I think I'll stay cautiously optimistic for this one, as well as with Fantastic Four. So yeah, that's it. Subscribe, or at least like the video, and comment please so that the algorithm is satisfied. So yeah, bye, have a good one.